afternoon, everyone. Whether you are joining us live or watching this recording back, we're so thankful that you're able to spend just a little bit of your time with us here with the Global Teach Ag Network, specifically with our Global Learning and Agriculture programming throughout this year of 2022. Today, we're just going to spend a little bit of time with one of our awesome global learning partners, Corteva Agriscience, learning more about pollinators, as the month of June is Pollinator Month. And from when this is being recorded, the following week is actually Pollinator Week. So this is coming at a really cool time where we're able to celebrate these pollinators that are so crucial for our food system. So I am not the star of the show here. I'm just Thomas Gable, an assistant program manager here. So I'm here to help amplify other voices that are a lot more qualified to speak on these subjects. So with that being said, LeeAnn, I'm going to throw it over to you to start our presentation here today.
Great. Thank you so much, Thomas. I'm LeeAnn Reetz, and I am the North America Quality and Compliance Assurance Lead, one of four for Corteva. But not only that, I am a program volunteer for Corteva Grows Pollinator Habitat Program. I'm not an entomologist, and I'm not an agronomist. In fact, I'm a business person. So my big participation in this program is to be the central hub of activity, the connector, as if you will. So let's get started with our day. In our time, we'll talk why pollinators, why are they so important? And what is the Corteva Grows Pollinator Habitat Program? Who are the collaborators and what are their responsibilities? I'll give you an example of a youth outreach, a habitat planting event, and some of the educational resources that we have available. And we'll have some time for questions and answers. So let's get started. Why pollinators? Well, we know that they're essential to food production. They support the production of about 87 of the leading food crops worldwide. They're an important component of our ecosystems, both ag and natural ecosystems. And 35% of crop production, relies on pollinators. In the United States, the ecological service is valued at $20 billion each year. That means that the pollinators are out there doing their job and helping the yield of our crops. They are essential to biodiversity. More than 80% of the world's plants need pollinators to survive. But the pollinators need the plants to survive. Much of the diversity of the flower shape, size, coloration has co-evolved with pollinators to attract their services. For example, you see on the picture the monarch and a marigold. The monarch and the marigold are very similar in colors. The monarch can feed on the marigold and still be sheltered and camouflaged from its predators. But don't think that you have to have a high abundance of land to create a pollinator habitat. Studies have shown that small containers can be just as beneficial, if not more beneficial. Pollinator habitat also benefits soil health, water quality, carbon sequestration, and biodiversity. So you ask, why Corteva Agriscience? We are a large, diverse agricultural company serving farmers globally, and they benefit from pollinator activity. This project aligns with our sustainability goals. And there are a lot of people like me who are passionate, active employees at locations across the United States and Puerto Rico. The Corteva Grows Pollinator Habitat Program is a collaboration with Pheasants Forever, Quail Forever, and 4-H. We plant pollinator habitats and we educate students and communities about pollinators and their habitats. Here's a picture of an installation at our Global Business Center in Johnston, Iowa. You'll notice the frames around the small plots resemble honeycomb. So what are our goals? We want to increase pollinator habitats and populations. We also want to support our own sustainability goals. We want to strengthen pollinator education across the US, because we all know that the youth are our future. We also want to provide employees and community engagement opportunities through this platform. So with these collaborators, we have roles, we have responsibilities. Corteva provides the land and also connects other landowners. We provide site security to our property. We provide planting support, and that's where employee engagement comes in. And we help maintain the site. So we'll apply chemical, we'll do the burn down, we'll coordinate with the local fire department if necessary, if that type of burn is needed. Pheasants and Quail Forever will help provide the seed. They provide the expertise and the planting support. They'll help with the site preparation and ongoing mowing. We really rely on their expertise. And then National 4-H Council. We look to local clubs to participate in annual field days. They'll help with planting, plot cleanup, and we educate the students on pollinators. Through grants, there are different educational kits and curriculums available, one of which contains a take-home kit with seeds, a trowel, garden stakes, and seed identifiers, plant identifying stakes for the youth. Let me take a moment to give you just a highlight of a youth outreach event. The first thing we do is to identify the site, make our initial contact with the local Pheasants and Quail Forever biologist. They will help us order the local seed blend for our geography, and they'll also help us make a plan for planting. The second step is to prepare the site. You want to have good seed to soil contact. Of course, you always have to wait on the weather. Then we want to prepare the topsoil at site. That might include burning down with chemicals. That might just take a light raking. There's a lot of different things that need to be taken into consideration. It depends on the size of the area and what it's currently planted in. Then you want to apply fertilizer to the prep site because that's going to assist in germination and give a great foundation for the plant emergence. And then you just let nature go. A sample agenda for a site with the youth. We start with welcome and introductions. Make sure the youth know that they're very much a part of this. We break the kids up into small groups, send them through the activity stations. And then after we seed the project, we let the kids come in and broadcast the seed as well. Then we let them come in and plant plugs or small plants. That helps the area give some immediate shine to it, and also helps the kids have a hand in the dirt. After you've planted the project, it's time for a group photo next to the sign displaying the national and local sponsors. Main thing you're going to need is patience. You have a bare spot in your first year, it's okay, just wait. There might be some plants that have been, seeds that have been planted that need a cold stratification process. That means it's strengthening the root system before the plant emerges above the soil. The picture here is a habitat in its third year. You can see it's beautiful and lush, but it didn't quite look like that its first year. And here's an example of our sign. This is a sign that we put to highlight our national and our local sponsors. Does anyone have any questions before I highlight our handout?
If anybody on the call has questions, feel free to either unmute and ask them right now, or we can put them in the chat box and then we can read through them. But looking at that presentation, LeeAnn, I had a question that I want to kick us off with, and then I'll pivot it to Dr. Foster because I see he has one too. But yes. I think the idea of collaboration is awesome. And that's something that we really strive for with the Global Teach Ag Network, of allowing educators to connect with one another and collaborate. So I'm curious to hear more of the story as to how that collaboration with Pheasants and Quail Forever and 4-H started.
Well, it actually started at a break room table. One of our regulatory science leads and home pollinator habitat planter themselves thought, we're telling farmers they need to do this. Why don't we show them how to do it? We want to be the ones who can put people together and put organizations together. We're the field agronomists, the agriculture. We needed somebody who knew more about the pollinators and the habitat that pollinators need to survive. And who better than Pheasants Forever? So we partnered with them for their expertise and their biologists. But we didn't want it to stop with just planting. We need to bring our youth into this and our communities. And that's where our partnership with National 4-H is so important. National 4-H is across the United States. Clubs are everywhere. They are fantastic at building educational curriculums. And we have 2 different curriculums available through them right now. And the number of youth that are involved in 4-H, whether they're in a big city or out in a rural community, we've been able to touch tens of thousands of those students just in the first 3 years of our project.
That's awesome. And just the fact that you're able to bring in experts and then have them in a project like this that also has impact on youth and helps prepare them for future sustainability success, especially relating to pollinators. That's awesome. That's good stuff. I could talk and ramble more. I'm just fired up about this because I think it's really cool. But anywho, Dr. Foster, you got a question, good sir. What is it?
Sure. As I look at the participants and think about some who might be watching and listening, what happens if I'm an educator and I want to be involved and participate in Corteva Grows and partner? Is there an action or anything that I can do for that?
Yes, you can contact me. My contact information is on the site here, and or Thomas can get you in contact with me and we'll get you to the right people.
So this is projects that could be replicated at different sites and locations across the Corteva ecosystems, if possible, with a lot of different variables.
Correct.
Thank you.
LeeAnn, is there anything else that you have a microphone, an audience that you can say anything you want to the over 1,000 educators in the Global Teach Ag Network who can go and watch this recording back? Is there anything else that you'd like to say about the work you do, or just in general things you'd like to say to educators?
So there's a couple things. Everyone can do something, even if it's a small container garden, a small container containing petunias, for example, or dipladenia. I have a small container with dipladenia and petunias, and I have hummingbirds coming to that container daily. We also have a small 10 by 10 plot farther away from our house, and we're constantly seeing butterflies, bees. We even in the late evening see bats swoop in, and we know how important all of the different pollinators are to our environment. So everyone can do something.
Powerful words right there. It would have been more powerful if I had not mispronounced a word in that statement, but consider that a challenge, folks. You can have an impact on pollinators and their health and success wherever you're at, and it can just be a small action like that. I love that. I would love to see more hummingbirds around where I live currently, so I'm going to take that challenge myself and roll with it. With that being said, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, but if you are watching this back, you are in the Whova space and you're going to see LeeAnn's contact information there. So if you are curious as to replicating this yourself, just contact her using that. But at the same time, we hope that you'll be able to join us for more programming coming up. So next week, not formal live programming, we're going to get you some climate change resources for different educators and professionals to be able to use them with how they contact youth and interact with youth. So we're going to get some information and link that to the World Food Prize laureate that was announced this year. And then the week following that, so next week, climate change, the week following that, we're kicking it at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, talking about school-based agricultural education, sub-Saharan Africa. And really bringing in some different organizations from AgriCorps and Field of Hope and a couple other organizations to talk about best practices for that. So please stay tuned with us. Keep the conversation rolling in the Whova space and the community board platform, and let us know what questions and ideas you have. So, LeeAnn, anything else you'd like to share before we tune off today?
No, I look forward to hearing from people. Thank you so much for giving Corteva the opportunity to share.
And thank you, LeeAnn, for taking some time out of your day and sharing with us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.